Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Today we are live for episode 27 of the Podwans podcast. I am joined by my co-host, Luke. Say hello.
What's up, guys?
And today's gonna be a special episode. We only got one episode to cover. It's
Yep.
Supply Lines in season 3 of Clone Wars, which is the Ryloth episode with Imagun D and King Katunko. It'll be a very fun episode to talk about, and we are joined by a very special guest.
We'll be. Yeah, it'll be a second time, but we're gonna do the other thing first,
Okay.
and then we'll bring him in.
You'll see him in after this.
You never would have made it as Obi-Wan's Padawan, but you might make it as mine.
We are joined by, bring him in, Aidan talks Star Wars topics. How you doing, Aidan?
I'm doing great. What's up, guys? How are you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Just fantastic. Good job, Char. Good job. I'm proud of you. You took initiative, and I like it. I like it a lot.
You did. Hey,
everybody give it a round. Everybody give him a round of applause. Give him a round of applause.
No paparazzi, please, unless you're paying me.
Yeah. No paparazzis. No paparazzis.
But yeah, today's going to be a very special episode. And then tomorrow we're going to be talking about episode 3 of the Book of Boba Fett. So we have a pretty jam-packed schedule for. Usually it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are our main episode days, or main live days. So
and we hit the big milestone last week at 100 subscribers.
100 subs. Thank you guys. Thank you all.
We appreciate you guys. You guys are what makes us lets us do what we want to do. And we couldn't do it without you. So I appreciate it. Also, if you're not following Aidan Talks Star Wars Topics on TikTok, go do it now. Because
we are currently on a mission to get Aidan, Malik, Pink Milk.
Yep.
And we got a bunch of people that we're trying to get to 1,000 followers on TikTok to get them to go live with us and just grow their channel more on TikTok. So if you don't mind
absolutely
going and
appreciate you guys,
channel, would be great.
No, yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be awesome. I'm really enjoying this whole especially with Boba Fett coming out. It's like we finally got the wave of Star Wars content and Star Wars TikTok is actually it's been pretty active, but now we're really going.
This is the best part.
It's only just starting. It's only just starting with this year. So
this year
absolutely
is a lot in store. And when I started TikTok, that was when Mandalorian season 2 was just about to end. So we were kind of on the decline when it comes to Star Wars TikTok being very popular. So when I was making content, it wasn't as vibrant as it is now because we have the Book of Boba Fett out. So I'm excited. Every single Star Wars content creator should just be having a blast right now talking about the Book of Boba Fett and any type of Star Wars, even if it's past, present, or in the future. So,
and we hit everything. I was actually in a TikTok live. I'm in TikTok live now, but I was in somebody else's. I think it was Ken Kybers or whatever. She was doing painting, and she had mentioned how she liked our show because we were inclusive of everybody and getting different perspectives. And so we'll have her on one of these days, but let's go to the chat. Scholar all the way from Ireland.
Ayo, did I get an award for being early? No, but here I do have a little Oscar right here that says best uncle, if that's sufficient enough. I feel like that works. I mean, would you accept it? I think you could.
Harris says nope. He says worth a try. Chris, Star Wars Lawyer, is here. If you guys aren't following Star Wars Lawyer, go follow him now. He's doing a great job on TikTok and on Twitch. And he's also got a podcast, Too Black, Too Nerdy. Go check that out on Spotify. St. Pat.
Hello, St. Pat. Welcome in.
Brian with the beard. Brian with the beard man. You know, you're all too early. Get back to bed or go back to bed. You know, it's
Sabobo in the chat said y'all are so awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that a whole lot.
Thank you.
And then X-Core, what's up, my nerds?
And then I see Scholar said, I accept with humility. you want the best uncle award?
Oh, man. Oh, my goodness.
I don't know if you're even an uncle or not. I don't know if you have any siblings that have had kids or.
So Char, you weren't here last week, but
I was not.
X-Core, every single time you're not on, he always comments, "Is Char part of the podcast anymore?"
No,
I'm just like, yeah,
it was
he
just
is.
last week was just a handful, and winter break really was just not the
Yeah.
right, like, the timing of everything was just not ideal for me to come on the show. So now I feel it's a good time to, get back into the mix, because that's all the stuff that I don't have to worry about anymore. And I think Luke's talking to his dog. I don't know. Luke, are you talking to your dog?
No, I'm talking to the TikTok people, the people on the
Oh,
live, because remember,
okay.
I'm live streaming this.
I wasn't sure if you were talking to a ghost or not. And,
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
It's not
right.
unbelievable that he would do something like that. Yeah.
Are you ready to dive into this episode?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Let's dive in. So Aidan, obviously we know how you got into Star Wars. I'm not gonna ask you that, but I wanna know, what is your favorite Star Wars moment?
Oh gosh, you're getting me on the spot here. Favorite Star Wars moment? Definitely. I think for me personally, my favorite moment in Star Wars, and this is kind of a common one, but it's the scene in A New Hope where Luke exits the Lars homestead and looks at the binary sunset, hoping for a greater adventure, a greater belonging in his life. And that moment has always resonated with me, kind of searching for your purpose in life and why you're here and whatnot. So that's probably my favorite moment in Star Wars.
Yeah, and
That's
that's also
awesome.
George Lucas's favorite moment in Star Wars too, because he said himself that scene reminds him of himself. Because when he made Mark Hamill do that scene, it reminded him that, like, where is my life going to go from here? It's like a young boy that doesn't know his place in the world. That his story is just getting started and it's just growing more and more and more. So that's why it's his favorite scene, and it's a very memorable scene. Like, when you think of Star Wars, you think of binary sunset, you think of Luke Skywalker, and that scene is like the what's the word I'm thinking of? It's like the market image of Star Wars. It's been like a continuum. Like, you see Luke passing in The Last Jedi, looking at a twin sunset, and then you have his story start at a twin sunset.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's just amazing. It's like, I really like that scene too, Aidan. I agree with you on that.
What is that yours though? Is that your favorite Star Wars moment?
Mine, it's probably, I think it's the "I love you, I know" scene from Empire Strikes Back.
That's a good one. That is a really good one.
I actually have those shirts that they sell at Disney.
Oh, nice.
And the Han saying "I know," that's the one that I have, and then they have Leia saying "I love you." Yeah,
nice.
I only got the "I know" one, and then all my family members like asked me, like, "What's I know?" And I was like, because none of my family is very into Star Wars. And I'm like, so there's like a very, very, very iconic scene in Star Wars that involves this response. So that's all I have to say.
Honestly, oh my goodness.
Why is Order 66?
Order 66? Wow. Do you just like
do you
the
love
heart-breaking punch? Like, I mean, if you like that, then go read the High Republic adult novels, please.
No problem with shedding tears, but damn.
Oh my God. Just gut
You just like being hurt, and that's okay.
But like, which version of Order 66 though? Because we've seen it in Revenge of the Sith, we've seen it in the Bad Batch, we saw it in the Clone Wars. Like, which one? Like, which part of Order 66 is your favorite?
It could even be the deleted scenes of Order 66. You never know.
No, yeah, absolutely. I would have to say mine is actually the sequel trilogy, part of the sequel trilogy.
Is it the one that Scholar just commented?
My favorite is either "We Are What They Grow Beyond" moment with Yoda. That is a good one, and Luke's death is a good one. But honestly, mine is hearing the voices.
Oh, really?
Rise of Skywalker. That one gets me every single time because it's not only just it's not just Luke Skywalker talking, but it's branching 3 different trilogies all into one. Like you get to hear Kanan, Ahsoka, like all of these iconic Jedi characters talking in overcoming in like it's so good. I just love it. I did a TikTok video about it a couple of months ago, and I took the video of like the actual scene, and like it gets me every single time. It just does. It's an incredible scene. It's not the greatest movie, but it is my favorite scene.
Yeah, it's a really great scene. And if all of you in the chat, if you want to go ahead and express your favorite scene in all of Star Wars, by all means, I would love to hear what your favorite Yoda lifting that. Actually, wait. That's actually my favorite scene in Star Wars. Never mind. I completely forgot about that.
Yoda lifting the X-Wing?
Yeah, that's a close second for me.
Most of my favorite scenes in Star Wars come from Empire Strikes Back because I am one of the biggest Empire Strikes Back sympathizers and protectors. And
I would say my second one, well, my favorite line of Star Wars is "The Force is with you, young Skywalker, but you are not a Jedi yet."
That's what I'm saying. Like that's why Empire, in my mind, is the greatest Star Wars movie. Like unanimously, because of the moments that movie has. It's just cornerstone Star Wars.
Yep.
Like every single quote that you hear, and even the music, you hear it constantly. Like you can hear the Imperial March song played at college football games. Like it's ridiculous.
X-Core goes, "You failed, Your Highness. I am a Jedi, like my father before me." That's a good one as well.
Yeah. If Chris didn't mention Yoda lifting the X-Wing, I would have completely forgot. But that is my all-time favorite scene in Star Wars.
St. Pat also agrees. It's when Luke throws away his lightsaber on the Death Star. That's a good one too. That's a really good one.
X-Core said, "LOL, Pat gets it."
Oh yeah, he does. But yeah, let's get into it. Char, plot summary. Season 3, episode 3, supply lines.
I haven't done this in a while, so it's going to be a little bit different. I haven't done a plot summary reading in about almost a month.
Wow.
It's been a while. Ready?
Let's do it.
A world under siege. The Separatists have launched a massive offensive against the planet Ryloth. A blockade of deadly battleships has cut off any support for the dwindling Republic defenses. Now they have fought valiantly with the help of Twi'lek freedom fighter Chem Syndulla. Hope is fading from Jedi Master D and his men as the droid army closes in.
Nice. There you go. That was good. It was good to get you.
I missed
get you back into it. But right off the bat, like this canonically is supposed to be like one of the first episodes of the Clone Wars if you're watching it in chronological order. I think it's interesting that they did this episode after the Ryloth arc and whatnot. So like we see Ryloth getting invaded by the Separatists. Jedi Master, I'm gonna die.
Did you say it like that? It's I'm a Gundi, not I'm gonna die.
Well, that's what it's supposed to be. Is I'm going
right
die.
On the nose.
You know, it is. You know, it's right on the nose. Great job, George. Great job. But the Republic is very, very short. They're outmanned, outgunned at this point. The blockade that the Separatists have around Ryloth is crushing Republic forces on the ground. So this is our first ever canon sighting of Cham.
That's true.
And it really, really shows. So if you watch this episode and then watch the Ryloth arc, his actions and his like demeanor with the clones and like with the Jedi is very much more explained. Like it makes more sense in that arc when you're watching it after you watch this.
And I don't think people really understand how big of a deal Chem Syndulla is to the Star Wars universe. Like he plays such a intricate part of the rebellion and the Republic and just the whole entire planet of Ryloth. Like he's like the first real person on Ryloth to be like the biggest freedom fighter they've ever had. And Twi'leks are obviously known for becoming slaves. I hate saying that word, but they're slaves or they work in the crime business, kind of like Bib Fortuna.
Yep.
It's Twi'lek's lives are not really they're not really like they don't really hold too much importance. Like they're kind of just that's why Ayla Secura is such a big deal because she was one of the first Twi'leks to become a Jedi.
Yeah, she was, absolutely.
Because the standard there is you either become a part of the criminal underworld or you stand up for something bigger than yourself, and that's what Cham Syndulla is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and also, Cham Syndulla is the people's man, unlike Senator Orn Free Ta.
Oh God, don't get me started on that guy.
I won't get started, but later on in the episode, I will give him credit. He actually did, but we'll get there when we get there. But in this episode, there was a side of him shown that isn't normally there because his viewpoint is that he needs to put his own personal wealth and own personal gain above even his own people, whether it be in what he votes for in the Senate or just how he acts, how he portrays himself and whatnot. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's why Cham and Orn Free Ta have such a tumultuous relationship, because Cham is the leader that Ryloth deserves, but Orn Free Ta is the leader that Ryloth has.
Absolutely. That's a great way of saying that, Aidan. I don't think I could have said that any better myself. Like that was so well said. I would have just said Cham rocks and Orn Free Ta sucks. But like the way you worded that makes a whole lot of sense, and it's true. Like Cham is on the boots, on the ground. He's not in Coruscant. He's fighting for his people, whereas Orn Free Ta is not doing anything. He is just hanging out, going to Mandalore, doing lavish things, going to Senate meetings. Like, come on, man! If you're gonna represent the people, actually go to Ryloth every once in a while. And I mean, you see that a lot in Bad Batch as well.
Look at the size of him too. He's eating well, a lot better than the citizens of his planet, especially during this early period in the Clone Wars.
No, yeah, absolutely. So basically, we like when it cuts from the plot summary, we are straight into action, and oh my goodness, this is like Umbara like action, like fighting. You know what I mean? You get to see like in depth like fighting with the Separatists and like the clones, and both the Twi'leks and the clones each like supporting each other. You get to see that for the first time. I really, really enjoy these parts of the episode. The other stuff, I get it. It's supposed to push the plot along. I understand that, but it like if I could have gotten like a whole episode of just Cham in Onaga D and like the clones battling, I feel like this episode would rank up a lot more higher up than for me personally.
Oh, we're already getting to the rankings of the episode.
No, I'm just saying, like
we're like over an hour ahead now, but
no.
I feel like this episode is kind of, well, not I shouldn't say perfect episode, but it reaches such a diverse group of prequel fans because you have the political aspect, you have the deception and the manipulation of the Sith happening in this episode as well. You have the war aspect of the Clone Wars in the prequels, which of course is to be expected. So it kind of hits all these different notes, I would say, in just the right amount of doses to make it like a pretty well-fledged episode, all things considered.
Yeah. So Cham comes up to Master Unagandi, and it's like we're running out of rations. Our cannons, they're running out of fuel. Like we're not gonna last very long. And the Jedi Master tries to get support, and they're not able to. He's like I can't remember the general's name, or not the general. It's the Admiral Dow.
Yeah, Admiral Dow.
Admiral Dow, and he's like, well, I'll try to communicate with the Jedi Temple and see what they can do. and he contacts the Jedi Temple begging that reinforcements be dispatched before his ship is destroyed. Since no relief forces are close by, the Jedi Council, represented by Yoda, Mace, and Obi-Wan, asks Senator Organa, who has finished a Senate mission, to travel to nearby Toydaria and ask King Katunta to oh man, God, I am awful.
Katunko.
King Katunko. Why am I always your pronunciation man?
Because why are you? This is why we work, because you help me pronounce.
I pronounced you for Adigalia. I helped pronounce what other names, but I always correct you.
You always do, and I'm glad you do, because I would butcher them. And to use his planet as a supply stacking base, and it's hilarious because it's like Obi-Wan's like, we're gonna need a more experienced person. Like a senator from Naboo has been dispatched, and he goes, like, Bale's like, oh, Padme can handle it, and he's like, that's not who they sent, Representative Binks, and like Bale's face, it's like, oh.
And his response is so perfect. He's like, I understand.
Yeah. He's
simple like, as
yep,
that.
Yep, I get it.
I know what I have to do.
I get it. So Bale heads to Toydaria. He lands, and like instantly Jar Jar like comes out, and he's like trying to act like he's like kind of a big deal. Like the line of, let me through, I am on a diplomatic mission. And I'm just like thinking the entire time, it's like, Bale, oh no, you're gonna have to carry this whole thing. And
he's like, let me do the talking.
Yeah. Basically, he's like, let me do the talking. And I also thought that the Toydarians are very much guarded in this sense.
At this point, they're still very much a neutral system. They want no part of the Clone Wars.
Yeah, so they're like, off-worlders. Like, they were like, you need to get back in your ship and leave. Like, we don't mess around here at all. But like I thought it was hilarious how Bale was just like, all right, we just need to talk to your king. Can you just let us through? And they're just like, okay, well, yeah, whatever. We're not gonna really give you a whole bunch of slack and a whole bunch of stuff. But they were able to get it done. They're granted an audience with the king and his council, but negotiations are rendered because of Lot Dodd.
This guy, I swear.
He just is the absolute worst.
Yeah. Also, if you didn't know, Lot Dodd also appears in The Phantom Menace.
Yes, he does.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So what were your guys' thoughts on like Lot Dodd and the like him popping in just at the right time?
Well, of course, he's sent by Dooku because, as most things, the Separatists intercepted the highly encoded transmission between the Jedi Council and Senator Organa. Wonder how that could have happened. No idea how that could have happened.
I wonder.
But especially in this instance, Lot Dodd is very sly and slimy.
Yeah. He pretends to be neutral, but it's
he uses the Toydarians' beliefs against Senator Organa's arguments. He's saying, well, isn't honesty a Toydarian trait that is very much acknowledged on this planet? That King Katunko and his ministers are like, well, of course, and whatnot. And he brings up the fact that the relief mission is going to a planet that is currently a battlefield between the Republic and the Separatists.
Yeah.
Droids and clone forces are battling for control of the surface and whatnot.
No, yeah, absolutely. He does. He's very good with his words. That would be the best way to say it. He's very good with his words.
Well, that's why Lot Dodd is the senator for the Trade Federation, because he's the guy who's able to speak for the Trade Federation and get out of any of the Republic's problems. Because I plan on doing a video about this, but about the origins of the Trade Federation and how they kept on capitalizing and monopolizing with the trade routes, but they also were so powerful they had a seat in the Senate where they can also avoid getting taxed by the Republic. So they can talk their ways out of losing money because they're such a huge huge conglomerate that's just filled with money.
And you know, I'm not surprised where he's like, oh, you know, Newt Gunray is an extremist. The Trade Federation doesn't ally with what he says. Like, that sounds pretty familiar to some other stuff when someone says something like that. But, you know, we won't talk about that.
Yeah.
No, yeah. It's it's so funny because it's like he's like, they are going to use this as a military base.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Bail and even Jar Jar are like, we're not, this is a humanitarian relief. Like, this isn't
food and supplies.
This is just food and supplies. This isn't, we're not looking to start a fight here. Like, we're just looking to help the people that are in need. And I feel like it's funny because Bail does a great job. It's like, it almost sings like, this is what he does that's how he teaches Leia. Like, that's what Leia gets from Bail, is that we are on a mission to help. We are not here to do destruction or anything like that. You know what I mean?
And he kind of extends the branch where he's like, both Naboo and Alderaan are planets that pride themselves on establishing humanitarian missions. And I know that Toydaria is a planet that holds this belief as well. So he connects it, and he speaks in such a way that is very convincing to the king and all his ministers. And even, I think it might be before, or it might be after the king reaches his ruling initially.
Yes.
Where one of the ministers is like, it's in our constitution to help those in need.
Yes.
So it's literally a part of their government structure to help those in need whenever problems arise.
No, yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. It's crazy. It's so crazy. I think he does play on the heartstrings of like the Toydarians. Like, that's one of their values. And he kind of uses it to his advantage. So they King Katunka Man, oh my goodness. I just, you know what?
Say it 50 times and you'll get it down.
Katunko. Got it. We got it. Okay. King oh my God.
You got
King
this.
King Dunkaroo.
King K officially denies, like, after they debate, he basically says, like, he officially denies the Republic their rights to a base on Toydaria. But then after the little meeting, he goes over and he's like, hey, like, you can use this. Like, we don't really agree with what's going on. We just want to put up a front so that our neutrality isn't in jeopardy.
And what's interesting too, the king is so smart because he's like, hey, I know you already have ships here. I'm not going to let you establish a relief effort on Toydaria, but I will allow you to send the ships that are already here in aid of the Twi'leks, where it would raise a lot more suspicion if a lot more Republic blockade runners had come in. You know, of course, Lot Dodd would have figured out what was going on, whereas it's only the ships that were already there.
Yeah.
Instead of an expanded operation. So that was a very smart move. It was using the resources to their fullest extent, considering the situation.
No, yeah, absolutely. That's a great way of putting it. And Organa and Jar Jar are like, yeah, let's do it. How are we gonna do it though? And Bail's like, I got this. Don't worry. Don't you worry. So he obviously meets with Binks, tells them that the humanitarian factor has actually gained his favor. He agrees to load Organa's ship with preliminary supply of provisions if Organa can keep the involvement of Toydaria a secret, which they do pretty darn well because of a certain certain Gungan.
Look, here's what it boils down to, all right?
Okay.
Jar Jar's good at 3 things.
What?
1, he's good at giving emergency powers to the wrong guy during a state of war.
Mm-hmm.
2, he's good at getting himself in trouble, no matter the situation he might find himself in. And 3, he is a master of distractions, which very much pays off in this episode.
Pays off in a lot of ways. Think about it. Episode 1, he steps in dung, and then he also does the wah wah when he tries to take the thing and like distracts a whole bunch of other. Like he's so like the comic humor, but it works in this episode. Like it wasn't forced too much. And I feel like the Clone Wars does a lot for Jar Jar's character in general. It really does a good job for him as well. Yeah, that's true. Brian and Xanatos or David are talking. As much as I don't mind Jar Jar as a Jar, sorry. See, that's why you did it, Char. Jar Jar as a character, I still tended to tune out or skip the episodes he was in. Yeah, that's I see that. I mean,
Jar Jar is my favorite character.
Oh, that's false. It's Boba Fett. Who's your favorite character? Boba Fett.
Jar Jar.
Right?
Yeah.
Boba Fett. Besides season 7, I haven't watched most of the Clone Wars in probably 7 years. Except for the Ryloth arc, which he was on. If you guys want to go check that out. It's a great episode. He did then David said, skipped on rewatch. There are still some gems of episodes he's in. That is true.
Mm-hmm.
That is very true. And I feel like this one's one of them.
I agree.
So Organa hits upon the plan to have Jar Jar distract the Lockdod during a banquet, a task which Jar Jar performs with extraordinary skill. He does a fantastic job with doing the plates. Let's just discuss that for a second. Jar Jar being useful.
I was highly impressed. Like I didn't know he could do that. So shout out to Jar Jar.
No, yeah, Char, your thoughts on him doing the plates and stuff?
About what Jar Jar doing the plates?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was pretty funny. I mean, it was like it's like something that you wouldn't think Jar Jar would do, because like he doesn't really do many good things like in terms of helping the group. But this time he actually does something that's beneficial for everyone. It's not often where Jar Jar is useful.
No, yeah, absolutely.
But this time he did a good job from distracting everyone from the ships. It was just so funny to see. It's just everything about Jar Jar is like, I mean, like I said before, he's my favorite character, and just some of the things that he does just really puts a smile on my face. I can't even say that with a straight face. It's just Jar Jar is my favorite character.
No, yeah, absolutely. St. Pat has a good like Jar Jar is smarter and more useful than character
than people give him credit for.
I agree, except he gets manipulated, unfortunately. But like that works, I guess, right?
Husa? Oh, Yusa.
Usa Ayusa. So what else is good here? Let's look at the chat for a little bit. Impressed that you're actually covering all of the episodes. Everyone knows the only relevant arc is the droid arc. You know, you're not wrong.
Yeah, it's Meeber Gascon.
Meeber Gascon.
My name is Meeber Gascon.
My name is Meeber Gascon. And I am going to be the one that takes over this ragtag group of droids.
Chatting said, Char, I swear from the lighting for a second, you legit look like Matt Lanter.
Well, I mean, he is our Anakin. So, chatting time. If you guys aren't following him on TikTok, go follow him. He's great. He's a great follow. And on Twitch, he does Twitch streams every once in a while. Okay, so it's funny that you say that, because Char gets like Anakin vibes all the time.
And I don't know why that is.
And I'm Obi-Wan, I guess, for sure, because I can actually grow facial hair.
Hey, don't say that.
I'm
don't
just
say
saying
that.
I can't.
Hey, don't say that.
I can though. I can more than you.
Okay, well, you know what? Okay, you know damn well I can grow a mustache.
Yeah, but the mustache is weird.
The mustache is great.
It's weird.
Oh yeah,
it's weird.
I'm gonna grow a mustache. And I'm gonna get one of those bikes from Book of Boba. Just watch.
See, and the other thing is like Scholar brings up a good point. Jar Jar has good intentions, which is what matters. That is very true. That is true. St. Pat says, I hate Meeber Gaston worse than Krell. Ooh,
you hate Meeber Gascon?
I love.
What did Gascon do?
I love it.
He's just a little guy trying to have fun.
Yeah.
He's a war general. He's a war hero. Come on.
Yeah. Chat in time says, oh my God, you are absolutely Anakin and Obi-Wan. That's true. But I would say
it's all Obi-Wan's fault. He's jealous.
He's holding me back. That's a good one.
I'm a Jedi. I know I'm better than this.
No, yeah. Brian says, I'd beg to differ, Luke. Yes, your beard is better than mine. Yeah, we are acting like them right now. That is absolutely true. But
yeah, I say we just yell at each other. We just yell at each other like
that's how we get them.
That Ahsoka always wanted.
No, yeah, absolutely. No, so like him, he doesn't really like Bale uses Jar Jar perfectly. Like just perfectly.
Now I feel offended. You're confusing Jar Jar with Char Char.
It's so close. What are you talking about?
Just call me Char.
God.
You don't say Jar Bings. You say Jar Jar.
Sometimes I might now. But anyways, it's so funny how they use Jar Jar.
They do.
And it's like it's so perfect because he's like, all right, I'm gonna tell you when to start distracting them, and it's like perfect. It's so perfect.
And what makes it even better is the fact that the other Neimoidian that's with Lot Dodd gives Jar Jar applause, like he's actually impressed by it, and then Lot Dodd just gives him the dirty eyes, like, "Don't you clap at that." Don't you clap at that?
No, yeah, that is really, really funny. I did see that all the time.
Also, can we talk about the fact that the table floats on...
Yeah! Oh, that is so cool. That is such a cool concept.
And it makes sense because the Toydarians are a winged species, so they're constantly flying around, so it's kind of their natural state to be elevated above ground level, whatever that might be, so it makes sense.
No, yeah, absolutely. It does. Absolutely. So Organa is able to keep like we said, he's able to Jar Jar, he's able to use Jar Jar pretty well. While Organa supervises the loading of the relief supplies. Meanwhile, the situation on Ryloth is not looking great.
Nope.
Not looking great. We've got a ton of issues going on. Cham starting to doubt the Republic. The Jedi are getting Unagundai is like getting really, really desperate, and so are the clones, and you can see it.
A quote from this episode that really resonates from me actually comes from Master Dai, where he's like, in times of war, promises eventually just become hopes. We hope for this to happen. It's not necessarily a sure thing anymore because it's such a tumultuous time and nothing's really certain unless you can actually see it, right?
Because absolutely.
In this instance, seeing is believing for Cham and the other Twi'leks. Like, they appreciate the help of Master Dai and Captain Keeley and the other clone troopers, but it's only so much aid. They're expecting more aid from the Republic because they're a part of it and they expect to be helped in their time of need.
No, yeah, absolutely, Aidan. Char, what are your thoughts on the doubts that the Twi'leks have, especially Cham?
Well, I feel like they've always had them. Like, especially when you watch Bad Batch, Cham Syndulla has always been reluctant about the Republic and the Empire. Like, in the time of Bad Batch, the Republic was still a still existing thing. They were just slowly transitioning into a different form of power. But they've always been conscientious about who they should follow, because Ryloth has always been a really messed up planet, and it's been seen in a different way as many other star systems in Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
because like I said before, I feel like the Twi'leks are subjected to a terrible life. Like there's a life of crime, or it's like and crime and slavery. That's like the main thing of Twi'leks and Ryloth, and it's like they just want their people to be helped.
No, yeah,
because
absolutely.
a lot of the times the Twi'lek people are just so corrupted by political propaganda from the war. They just do things that are outside of what is right, according to what Cham Syndulla believes. So when they do that, they just want what's best for their people.
No, yeah,
Cham Syndulla is the embodiment of Ryloth. There's a character, I made a video about this recently. It was about Babe Fortuna and his cousin, Beezer Fortuna. That's part of Saw Gerrera's partisans. And the reason why because he's a Fortuna, they were born into a world of, they were born into a powerful clan in the criminal underworld. But Beezer resented that because his idol growing up was Cham Syndulla. So he became a very political person and wanted to fight for Ryloth. And I just think that they just really want people, especially from the Republic, because they know that the Separatists just only want pain, and they want to just cause a bunch of turmoil for the planet.
There you go. Yeah.
Hey, Luke, it's my job to correct, not yours.
Well, my turn.
But no, like, I think that they're very stuck up about who should be helping them, because all they want is the best for their people.
And they just want peace too, right? Because
their world has been filled with just crime.
Ryloth's always been in a state of conflict, even outside of the Galactic Civil War or even the Clone Wars. Just throughout the existence of the Star Wars galaxy, it's always been.
Well, that's also why Hera Syndulla is such a big inspiration to everyone, not just because she's a very powerful female character and she's such an awesome character to follow in Rebels, is that she comes from a family, she comes from a bloodline of freedom fighters.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's cool to see her evolution, because her dad was such an important part of the Clone Wars and for the future of what's to become the rebellion. It's like they just want Ryloth to be saved. It's just never been free from anything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, we lost Aidan for a second there, and then we got him back.
Sorry, my internet cut out. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're good. You're absolutely great.
I'm trying to look at this comment that Scholar said. The Republic symbolically became the Empire as soon as the Clone Wars began. That scene at the end of Attack of the Clones with the Imperial March playing best shows that. Yeah, definitely. And it's weird thinking about those people that were relying on the Republic and the Separatists for their relief efforts, because in reality, they were just subjects to. They were just pawns for Palpatine's plans. I feel so bad, because I mean, yes, people were helped, but at the same time, everyone knew that the Republic was becoming corrupt. Everyone knew that the Separatists were not to be trusted, because they always betrayed you, and they always took everything you had, and they promised all of these goods and money and food and everything, but they just lied to you. But the Republic, it's just like the that one episode about how everyone was convinced that the Republic has become the very thing that they swore to destroy, because if people knew that they were becoming a tyranny.
It's like the deleted scenes from Episode 3. The group of
3,000. Don't tell me the
delegation of 5,000. Is it the delegation of 5,000? Isn't that what it's called?
Are you talking about the ones with Bail
Padme,
and Mon Mothma?
It's basically the beginning of the rebellion.
Yeah,
that's what I would.
I think about the Order 66 animated.
Oh yeah, those are rough.
The animatics.
Those are really rough. Those are really
for those
rough.
of you who are in the chat who hasn't seen that, go ahead and
watch those.
It's on Disney Plus.
You will laugh so hard. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Watch all the Revenge of the Sith deleted scenes. You'll get a kick out of it.
Oh yeah, it's great. So to cover their escape, Jedi Master
Amagundi
is making a path to where they can put a gunship, which they're not going to need, which is true. They don't need it. He puts it in the one place. So there's 3 entrances. One to the left, one down the middle, and then one to the right, which the Twi'leks are going to try to escape out of.
Yeah, into the mountains.
Yep. Into the mountains back behind them, which isn't really to the right. It should be more behind them, but I digress. So he comes up with the idea of blocking off that one part, and then
what's very sombering in that moment when he's doing the map with the stick is once he's done, Captain Keeley lets out this big sigh, and he's like, I'll go let the men know, which basically that tells you this is a one-way, like this is it.
This is it. The end game.
This is it for Master Dai, and this is it for Captain Keeley and his clones. They're going to,
I think that
sacrifice themselves to protect
that part
the
of the story is so cool.
I agree.
That's the last time we see a clone commander on Ryloth, and then Hauser from Bad Batch replaces him, and that's who we see in Bad Batch from that time on. It's like Ryloth has changed so much from that moment when Amagundi and Keeley are surrounded by Separatist forces to what happens in the Bad Batch. Because are you guys fans of Hauser? Like, do you guys like?
Yeah, I like Hauser.
Yes.
Yeah, I like Hauser.
Brothers, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
No, it's like if Keeley was a very cool clone. I loved him. He's like what every single clone should stand for, to sacrifice for the Republic. And
the classic
for
the Republic.
Amagundi's sacrifice was probably the most memorable in all of Star Wars. Just because of like not even just his name, but how heroic he is. Like he's willing to sacrifice anything to keep what they stand for.
And not only that, he also leaves Gobi, who is Cham's second in command. He's like, hey, tell Cham, make sure you tell Cham to keep faith to keep faith in the Republic, because help will come. It might not be from us, but help will come. And by the end of this episode, help does come, but it establishes Cham's attitude that we see in the Ryloth arc when Mace Windu encounters him for the first time.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Cham's mindset was like, you guys didn't do enough the first time.
Yeah.
Because this is technically the first battle of Ryloth in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was supposed to
And
be
the arc is the second battle of Ryloth in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like way earlier in season 1. This episode.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of funny how there are so many planets with multiple battles on them, like 2 battles of Geonosis, 3 battles of Megiddo, 3 battles of Felucia. They just keep fighting over these planets and whatnot. But it sets Cham in his attitude where he's like, why should I trust in your aid now during the Ryloth arc?
Yeah.
And eventually, he comes to trust Mace because of his actions, right? Because Cham established this mindset that the Republic was going to take action in this episode, and they did take action, but to Cham, it wasn't enough, right? Sending supplies and food is only a means to an end. It's going to keep us going for a little bit. The ultimate satisfaction that Cham will get, and we kind of see this in Bad Batch, is that Ryloth is not being oppressed and it's at peace. That's all he wants.
That's all he wants is the liberation of Ryloth.
That's why he has this attitude. And I think it's really cool storytelling that even though this episode was released later chronologically, it ties in to that arc of on Ryloth, where we
Mm-hmm.
first meet Cham, which is really cool to see that they're keeping in mind continuity, which I
absolutely.
really much appreciate.
Yeah, and I really want to see Cham Syndulla more in Bad Batch season 2 because I think his part in Bad Batch season 1 was so great. I love that they brought him. They brought I'm forgetting his wife's name. Starts with an I.
Yeah.
And then Hera. I thought that was a very very interesting part of the show that they gave us because we always knew Ryloth was oppressed, but now seeing the early stages of the Empire impacting them. It's just like the whole planet is in disarray. Like they don't know what to do. Orn Free Taa's not helping them. The Empire's not helping them, and Rampart not helping them at all. Like the only hope that they have is Syndulla and Hauser. That was the only two people. Well, I mean maybe Gobi, but Syndulla and his soldiers were the only main people that were effective at all.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just like giving them hope and whatnot, but we gotta Darth Chaco, half of the diet in the forest on Saturdays, 5 I think it's 5 p.m. or 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. He also has his own podcast, The High Ground. Aidan, as always, hair is gorgeous.
Thanks,
think I could
Chaco.
pull off?
Appreciate it.
Y'all think I could pull that off? I mean, probably. I mean, it's.
I'm thinking like if Chaco were to have that hair, it'd be like Snoop Dogg in like the early 1990s.
Yeah.
Back when he had that long like Cat Williams flow.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
I will say it takes dedication to get this much hair. This has been
how long has it been? Maybe a year and a half, maybe
over a year.
Yeah, because I used to have hair like that. I used to have hair that went down to like my collarbone, and it took me about a year and a half to grow. But like I always missed that hair. Like there was so much you could do with it. It can like get in the way sometimes, but it's so fun to have that.
Well, yeah, it's always new too, which is pretty cool. So
yeah, like before that, I never had long hair. Like my hair went all the way down to where yours is right now. And it's like, I should have just kept it. I should have just kept it.
No, yeah, absolutely. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce her name.
Eleni.
See, that's easier to say. I will say. Malik, the Jedi Smark. Go follow him on TikTok. He is also. I posted a video today with Aidan and Malik's TikTok names. Let's get these two guys to 1,000 followers on TikTok. I think we could do it.
Whoa, no way. Is that MMan3161? No way.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's Malik's like that was like his initial name on
is it really?
Yeah, MMan3161.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I remember because he was like one of like the first few people that I met in the Star Wars community that I've always I was always like I flocked to him because he was just so cool to be around, and all of his conversations are extremely uplifting, and he's got so many fun stories.
Yeah,
very bad and very good, and sometimes really funny. But he is such a very, very cool person to talk to. So once again, for those of you in the chat that do not follow him on TikTok, go ahead and follow him at _Jedi_Smark.
Yeah, it's awesome. Chaco says, I'm gonna die Syndulla. Nice. Very, very nice. Thanks, Chaco.
I don't think that was the wife's name, but sure.
No, yeah. But getting back on track, like they use I think the funny part about this episode is like when they put the gunship in there and the separatists show up, they're like, oh, it's a down gunship.
Oh my god. And the B1s throughout the entirety of Clone Wars.
Yeah.
It's like Ohm 1 and Ohm 5. Go check out this gunship.
Yeah.
And these two clowns go to the gunship and they're like, oh, I wonder if there'll be a bunch of clones in here. They open the gunship doors and it's just, explosive barrels of what presumably is rhydonium.
Oh, yeah.
Which we see later on. And they're like, oh, it's just explosives.
Explosives?
Yeah. And then
it blows up.
And then the one clone's like, gotcha. And then he sets off the detonator. Oh,
it was so good. So the Twi'leks are able to get away. It's this whole thing, this death between Keely and Amagundi is rough. It's really like the first real death, a Jedi death that we see on screen, right? In the Clone Wars, at least.
No, because in season 2, the guy who was keeping the
the holocron,
the holocron,
he's dead. He's dead too. Yeah, that's
what's
right.
his name?
I forget.
Master Rapal or something.
Yeah,
like
Master
that.
Rapal for the holocron heist.
Yeah.
That's right.
I think he was like the first minor Jedi death we got.
Yeah, that was the Rodian. Yeah.
But like this
Rodian,
one,
do you want me to cut your buns?
Yeah.
You know it's bad.
All's cool.
You know it's bad when the dramatic music starts, the dramatic score starts playing, and the droids roll up with thermal detonators. You know someone's gonna die when the writers of the show give battle droids like thermal detonators or some kind of explosive, something we don't normally see them with. It doesn't end well for the party on the opposite end.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that really got me. Like, even just rewatching it, I knew it was gonna happen, but like, it's still a really heavy death for a kid's show. Like, and it was amazingly shot as well.
And I really love the dialogue where, I'm not done yet, General. We can do this, and then I'm gonna die is like, let's make the end memorable.
Yeah,
and just.
Absolutely.
He starts going through all the forms.
Absolutely.
When he's attacking the super battle droids, like all the different lightsaber forms, and he does like, behind the back and all this cool stuff. And he's like, and then in his final seconds, he gets the communication. This is Blockade Runner 099er. We have broken through. And he's like, oh, the Twi'leks are safe. And then he gets gunned down.
It's the true hero sacrifice.
Yeah.
And it's like, that reminded me of if you guys ever played Halo 3.
Yes.
About Sergeant Johnson at the end. Send me out with a bang. That's the exact same energy that Amagundi gave.
No, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know what and like, here's the other thing, like when he goes down, like you see he looks up and he sees the escape pods flying over.
Yeah.
And dropping down, and he knows, you kind of see it on his face. He's like, okay, I can accept death because I know.
Yeah, the Twi'leks are gonna live to fight another day. That's all that matters.
Yep, absolutely. So that was a huge thing. Captain Keely is gunned down, heavily wounded. He receives word that a load of supplies is on its way, and he dies content with the knowledge that the Twi'leks will survive. Like we were just now talking. The supplies are dropped in front of Syndulla's convoy, raising cheers and renewing hope. Back to Toydaria, Organa and Binks are bidded farewell by Katunko. Got it. Katunko, guys. I got it this time. Lot Dodd steps in to protest, and they have they have broken the agreement, a claim from which Organa cheekily demands proof. He's like, can you prove it that we did anything?
Yeah, what's your evidence, pal?
Yeah, what's your evidence? What do you got? Nothing?
Show me your works cited.
And then, as Lot Dodd's walking away, he's like, you won't get away with this. I'll get you, Senator Organa.
Yeah. He pulls
being the sleazeball that he is.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Ain't no bamboozling my good old buddy Bail Organa.
No.
Nope.
No. Lot Dodd storms off fuming, and Katunko turns to the senators with the announcement that in the light of these events, Toydaria may be reconsidering their stance of neutrality, a news that greatly gladdens Organa and Binks. So this moves into the first ever episode of the Clone Wars called Ambush. This is where they show up, and where he goes. Well, he lets Bail know. He goes, contact Master Yoda and let the Jedi Council know that we are interested in talks at the end.
And one last thing that I want to add.
Yeah, absolutely.
This final interaction. Katunko's like, I don't know if the Republic has the strength to win this war, but I do know that the Republic has the heart to do what is right, which ties back to the quote at the beginning of the episode, which is, where there's a will, there's a way, which very much played throughout this theme played throughout the entire episode, not only on Toydaria, but also on Ryloth.
No, yeah. Absolutely.
And a lot of people use that quote in their regular lives. So there's a will, there's a way. Like that's said
very,
all the time.
Yeah, very common quote. Yep.
No, yeah, absolutely. And that is going to be it for the Clone Wars episode, season 3, episode 3. Char.
All right, are you ready?
Yeah.
My segment for the 3 interesting facts will be about today's episode. Right. 3 interesting facts about a certain Clone Wars arc that you didn't know about until now. Part 9, the Supply Lines arc. Fact 1, another funny name for their fate. I'm a Gundi is the I'm gonna die joke from this episode, but also Republic Admiral Dao, his name is an anagram for DOA, which means dead on arrival. Obviously, when he was on the very beginning of the episode, his ship obviously gets bombarded and he perishes.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Fact 2, Dao is a concept from the 1970s. Admiral Dao was meant to resemble the sideburn-wearing British Imperial officers that we see from the 1970s Star Wars. Because like Admiral Modi had those really long sideburns, Admiral Taggy, or whatever you want to call him, had those really long sideburns. So he was inspired by those Imperial officers.
Yeah, I kind of got the vibe if he had lived to the time of the Empire, he wouldn't be one of the defectors. He would.
Oh.
No, he wouldn't be.
Oh, he wouldn't be. Okay.
Yeah. No.
Fact 3, a reappearing Twi'lek appears. As mentioned before, Gobi, one of Cham Syndulla's soldiers, appears in different Star Wars media outside of the Clone Wars. He appears in The Bad Batch, he appears in Star Wars Rebels, and he appears in the novel Lords of the Sith by Paul S. Kemp.
One of my favorite canon books.
Good book.
Great story.
And there you have it. Those are the 3 facts about the Supply Lines arc. Or episode, if you'd say.
All right. Awesome. Guys, it is now time for the ranking of the episode. For those that are new here, thank you for joining us. The rankings are Youngling equals bad, Padawan equals okay, Jedi Knight good, Jedi Master great, Grand Master chef's kiss.
I feel like we should change Grand Master to like Yoda's dinner.
Ooh. That's a good idea.
Like, Grandmaster is Yoda's dinner.
We will shelf that. We'll shelf that, but that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Everybody in the chat that's here
sounds inspiring.
Let us know your ranking. Aidan, being our guest, what is your ranking of this episode?
I know this is kind of a one-off episode. It's it's only one episode. It's not like a part of an arc, unless you want to consider it part of the Ryloth arc, kind of parallel to it. But for me, it has so many cool different elements that were a part of the prequels, the political stuff, the manipulation of the Sith, and like the war itself, like I mentioned earlier in the episode. So for me, a lot of people might not share this ranking, but I'm going to give this one a Jedi Master.
Oh, you're not the only one. You are not the only one. Chris, Star Wars Lawyer, says Padawan. St. Pat says Jedi Master. So there you go. You're not the only one, man. That's for sure. Char, what's your ranking?
There are more of us, Aidan. There are more of us. I give this one a Jedi Master, simply because of the fact that Cham Syndulla, his introduction to this show was great. Like, we find out what he's fighting for on Ryloth, and we get the sacrifice of Amagundi, which was by far the most memorable sacrifice in the Clone Wars.
Still like 100%.
Like, yeah,
every time I watch it.
Like he's the epitome of a Jedi, and it's like it's so awesome to have him being this Jedi that we never knew, that we didn't really care about prior or before him coming onto the screen, and then he becomes one of the most memorable Jedi ever. So yeah, this one is definitely a Jedi Master.
No, yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna give it a Jedi Knight. It was good. It wasn't great. I liked the stuff that we got from Undagandi, and then also like getting Cham's perspective. I wish we would have saw more of Ryloth there, but I get it. Like I said earlier in the episode, like it's the political side. Like it was great. Like don't get me wrong. Like seeing Bale and Jar Jar do their thing was cool. It was okay. I just would have liked to see more of the struggle with the Twi'leks, but it's not a bad episode. It's just good for me.
Well, you definitely see the struggle of the Twi'leks later on in the Clone Wars.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Probably Jedi Master. Scholar says Amagandai's death scene alone gives it that rank for me. See,
yeah, his sacrifice is very important.
Very big, very, very important, very big, especially if you look at it from the like Ryloth perspective or perspective as well. So, I mean, I get it. It just didn't hit the same way for me, but
that's completely fair. Yeah, it's all subjective.
No, yeah, it's all about the way you see it and how you, because TV shows and movies are about an experience. And I saw this episode years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember when I was 10, 11 years old, watching Amagundi sacrifice himself. And I was just like, this guy's amazing. I love him. He's just like a Jedi. It was just what a Jedi is. No emotion, just fighting for light and life, and is focusing on the betterment of the people.
Yeah.
And if it was to sacrifice himself, and same with Keeley, then so be it.
And that's the way of the Jedi. I mean,
and there's a lot of High Republic sometimes.
And that's the way the Jedi and the High Republic are for light and life.
They gave, I'm trying to think, like, what other movie was it? Like, because Amagundi gave them time to get their forces and was like give them time to escape.
Saving Private Ryan.
Maybe.
When Tom Hanks's character kind of just like sacrifices himself so that they can blow up the bridge at the end for the Americans to escape.
It's similar to that.
Similar like that.
Like if it wasn't for their sacrifice, what would have happened?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I feel like that's like a very, very war like movie trend.
You have to think about that. Like how
absolutely.
important that his sacrifice was for Ryloth and the Republic.
No, yeah, absolutely. Without his sacrifice, Ryloth would have been in trouble. It would have been in more trouble than we see it in the Ryloth arc. Harith says Padawan. I get it. I understand it. I get it. But I mean, it's not an Umbara, it's not a Mortis. But like, here's the thing, people: we're getting to the heavy hitters. We are going to be in 2 short months. I know months. I get that, but time flies. We are going to be hitting some of the classic Clone Wars arcs.
Yeah, season 3, it's where it gets pretty intense.
This season just does so much for this show.
I mean, just looking at the first 3 episodes, like, Arc Troopers, which is the episode right before this one.
Yes.
In release order. There's a lot of death in season 3. Like, the stakes are risen. It's a lot. Season 3 really ups the ante in terms of how intense the Clone Wars is. So
yeah,
there's a lot of stuff to come. Like you said, Luke, a lot of heavy hitters are coming, which is exciting.
Oh yeah,
like this part of the Clone Wars is where most fans get more emotionally invested in, because this is the part where all the sacrifices happen, where all the storytelling comes in, with not even just the main characters with Anakin, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, and the Jedi Order. We're talking about multiple. You got Hondo Anaka still being relevant. You got characters that are coming into season 4 and 5 that are a pretty big deal. And it's only up from here.
Oh yeah,
it's going to get way more intense, way more action packed, and it's going to be a lot more death, and it's going to be a lot more everything.
No, yeah, absolutely. It's going to be great, and I can't wait to get to all those arcs. We're moving along. Like, just to think, we started this in June in the first season. We're already 2 seasons in, and we're on our 3rd, and we've had so many guests, so many great people on. It's gonna be great. But let's get into Star Wars news.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. I don't know
what's on the table today, Luke? What do we have in store?
On the table, what we're cooking up. So I don't know if anybody here has heard of the rumors. A couple of days ago, it was reported that Mando had shut down filming due to COVID cases, and because LA is a pretty big hotspot for COVID-19 right now. And it was also said, I think it was like a day later, a couple of sites had gotten like 3 or more sources saying, no, that's not the case. We're right on track. We're good to go. Which was good because everybody was freaking out when they heard that. And I mean, let's be real. Saying that we're delaying, they're stopping filming could be for a day. It could be for a week. But like, I feel like they're so close to wrapping.
Yeah.
That like, it's almost like, it might not even affect the release date.
Yeah, it won't even be that long of a hiatus, in my opinion. It won't even. It'll be like at tops. It'll be maybe a month.
Yeah.
Well, and not only that, like people have to realize we're getting a whole lot of Star Wars this year. And, I was always under the impression that Mando Season 3, if at all, was going to come at the very end of this year or early on into 2023. That's kind of the instinct I had about it. So I don't, and like you said, Luke, it's the report was kind of overturned a day later. So I don't think anyone really has anything to be concerned about in terms of Star Wars content, in terms of The Mandalorian and all the live action television shows. I think we're doing just fine on that front.
No, yeah, absolutely. I did see this.
The Bo-Katan show.
Bo-Katan show rumors. It's
really?
That Bo-Katan could get a spinoff as well.
Interesting.
I think Bo-Katan is an interesting character. We get to her in the Clone Wars. Like, she's really well done. Do I think she can handle? She can handle a show?
Absolutely.
Do I think that we need a show for Bo-Katan?
Specifically her? I don't think so.
I don't know.
She's like she's known for being a very good supporting character.
Yeah.
I don't think she's ever been really seen as a main character.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess for me, it would depend upon when the series takes place ultimately, right?
Yeah, would it take place before the Clone Wars? Would it take place before Mandalorian Season 2? Like where would it take place?
Is it during the spots of Clone Wars we didn't see? Is it after Mando Season 2 or before Season 3? Which, if this is, I don't know if they would do that.
Or maybe it'll be after Rebels.
Yeah,
who knows, right? There are so many possibilities, but I would get invested depending on the time period of when the show takes place. And for me, that would probably be,
and that's fair,
something like maybe before the Clone Wars or after Rebels, where we kind of see the fallout of what happened on Mandalore. That would be that, at least to me, that sounds very interesting.
Yeah. And also you have to think about it though. With the Ahsoka show coming out, you have to think that maybe if the Bo-Katan show does come out, wouldn't those two kind of have a little bit of a connection with each other? Like, because it's just like Mandalorian Season 2 with the Book of Boba Fett, It's like they take place in the same timeline. They're slightly interconnected. I mean, they're in the same timeline, but Boba Fett was brought back from Mandalorian, but it takes place in the same time.
Well, and point to the fact that Bo-Katan knows where Ahsoka is in the first place, right? That just shows
like how does she know
that they have, right? So I definitely could see maybe her appearing in the Ahsoka show to some extent, possibly. Not saying she will, but that could be an avenue for another spinoff, like you were saying, Char, how Boba Fett is to the Mandalorian.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And Luke, do you mind clicking on Scholar's comment right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this is a good concept for what the show could be about for Bo-Katan, how she lost the Darksaber to Moff Gideon, and what is the current status of Mandalore, because she's well aware that Mandalore is done. Like
It's
been
Why would you want to go there?
overtaken by the Empire. It's the power there is just completely different. It's different from what we see in the Clone Wars with Almec and Satine. It's a whole different landscape. So her telling the story in her eyes of what Mandalore is like would be, I think it'd be pretty interesting, and it would really spark up some interest in some of the content creators' eyes, like maybe Julia Christine, like she's really into Mandalore with Satine.
Yes,
and
Satine and the
Kryze family, and also like Mara J. Skywalker with her being so invested with the lore of the Darksaber. It's like this is a very good show for some people.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Book of Boba Fett. We got chapter 3. Quick thoughts. We are gonna be doing roundtable, just like everybody, just to let everybody know. Roundtable tomorrow. We got some amazing guests for tomorrow. It's gonna be awesome. You guys aren't gonna want to miss it. We'll go into a little detail, but we won't go into heavy detail. I promise.
I unfortunately will not be attending the.
Oh yeah, give us your thoughts now, watch table. Char.
So my thoughts in the episode, it was better than the first episode. Not as good as the second episode, but it was moderate. Like if I were to scale this out of 10, I would give it maybe a low 8 out of 10. Like it was okay. Like it was cool to see some of the things, like spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen the book.
Oh wait, hold on.
Yeah, but I really like the character of Drash, who's Sophie Thatcher's character, the girl that we were speculating who that was. Her name is Drash. She works in the workers' district. We don't know much about her. I would like to know more about her. We get the fight between Boba and Black Chrysanthemum, which I thought was the most unexpected thing I've ever seen in Star Wars. Like we just got off from seeing Boba's tribe of Tuskens being killed, and then we immediately transitioned to him in the tank, and then he gets choked out by Black Chrysanthemum. Like it's I thought that scene was really cool. And then we get the Rancor, which, oh my god, I did not expect a Rancor to be in this show, and we did. And I initially didn't expect any Hutts to be in the show, but there was. So my expectations are turning every single episode that comes out. So yeah, I would give this episode an 8 out of 10. I thought the pacing was a bit slow. It's, I don't know, but we can't beat down this episode because we're almost halfway there. We're almost halfway to the end of the season, or the end of the show. If there's going to be a season 2, I don't know.
I think there's going to be a season 2.
I hope so. I would cry. I would cry if it's not a season 2.
It's all going to depend on how this season plays out, I feel.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you have to think about what the end goal is. Like you have to think about what are Boba and Fennec aiming for. And who are they going to see? Who are they going to fight? Who are they going to have to deal with in terms of the criminal underworld? And who are they going to make? Who are they going to be talking business with? Because I know from the trailer we get introduced to those 3 families: the Klatooinians, the Aqualish, and the Trandoshans, which is who we see in the trailer. So you know, the table is like, I have a proposal that'll be beautiful, that'll be mutually beneficial. And why corporation can make us all rich, like those guys in the show. Like we are just getting introduced to those, so those guys are going to be a very important part of the show, in my opinion. And I think that maybe other bounty hunters are kind of connected with those groups because Bib Fortuna just decided to just divide the entire planet of Tatooine.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's the Element's comment. All I know is that the Hutts don't care or don't scare easily, and the Pikes aren't enough to scare them also.
I agree
we all
with
know
that.
what's going to happen.
I agree, Element.
I wholeheartedly agree with that.
All I know what's going to happen is that there's a girl by the name
wild Quinlan Boss theorist has appeared.
Oh my god. And I remember everyone wants to see a girl by the name of Emilia Clarke just pull up in the show.
Mommy,
I feel like that's what everyone's wish is. They just want to see Kira.
Mommy,
they want to see her after the events of the Crimson Reign comics. They just want to see her. Everyone wants to see her.
Yeah.
I want to see her. Luke wants to see her. Aidan, I'm sure you want to see her.
Yep.
Everyone wants to see Kira. We haven't seen Kira in Star Wars for almost over 3
4
years
years?
now. Yeah, almost 4 years.
Yeah, almost 4.
Yeah, May of 2018. That was the last time she was in a Star Wars.
I mean on screen, but
yeah, live action. We haven't seen Emilia Clarke in Star Wars for almost 4 years, and she has said multiple times that she wants to come back on screen to portray Kira. So this is a golden time to like. I think that Quinlan Voss, but Crimson Dawn and the Bounty Hunters they employ is the only syndicate they can scare the Hutts back to Hutta.
That's true.
Yep.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
That's true because the Hutts leave because they know that there's an incoming force to Tatooine.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, who could that be? Like, it only leads to Crimson Dawn. Like,
no, yeah, absolutely.
Like, what other crime syndicate now is over here tearing up the entire galaxy right now? Like, we know Kira is still alive.
And just going back to the episode, I did enjoy this episode. I did score it the same as Char. I did give it an 8 out of 10. For me personally, I wanted more stuff in present day, which I got in this episode, so I was very much happy about that. Probably my favorite set of scenes took place with Boba, Danny Trejo as the Rancor trainer, and the Rancor calf, and it kind of that scene. I saw that tweet by Daniel Logan. It kind of connects. It kind of connects to multiple things. Like it kind of emphasizes why the Rancor reaction had that reaction when Luke killed the Rancor in Episode 6, and this is very much a deep cut, and I'm gonna look like such a big nerd. But
dude, it's okay. That's what we're here for.
In the Star Wars Connect video game, there is this mode called Rancor Rampage, and in this mode you can play on different planets, and one of those planets is actually Felucia, and you can play on Tatooine as well. But what I want to talk about is what happens on Felucia is basically the Rancor you play as was actually a Rancor that was kind of domesticated and was kind of a pet to a young girl of. So you guys remember like the farmers from the Bounty Hunters episode?
Mm-hmm.
She was of that species, and basically it got to the point where the Rancor was too big, so he was taking up too much space, and she kind of had to let him go. And it's a very short cutscene in the game, but you can kind of see the connection between her and the Rancor. So this idea of Rancors being complex creatures, like Danny Trejo said in the episode, it has been previously established, and it's really cool to see that they're kind of picking up on different elements and kind of fleshing out something as simple as a creature in Star Wars.
Yeah. Element says, could we see Ochi, the Crimson Dawn?
Ochi Bastum is, I think it's likely. I think
it could be.
Bastum.
I think so.
Because he's also in Crimson Reign.
Yes, he is also in Crimson Reign as well.
And also, like, going off of what Aidan said before with how he wanted more present-day Boba in the third episode, and I totally agree with you, because the second episode was, the whole story was him becoming a Tusken, and it was all in the past. And in the third episode, it's not really much present, because once we find out that the Tuskens were eliminated, we don't really need much. We don't need to see that. Like, it's interesting to see where he goes and how he ran into the Pikes beforehand.
No, yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, I just want to see more of present Boba. I want to see the crime lord Boba. I want to see Lord Fett go crazy.
Yeah, and I do want to make it clear that I also have thoroughly enjoyed the flashback. So I'm not saying
who hasn't,
I'm not saying they've taken away from the show. I'm just saying I'm happy that we've got more of present day in this episode.
Yeah. Like I said, I'll be on the round table, so I don't want to say too much, but I really like this episode. There were parts of it I didn't think were necessary, or like they kind of botched some things, but like I said, I'll go more into detail then. But like it was a good episode. I really enjoyed it. Like we said, we only have like 4 more episodes or 3 more
We
episodes
only have 4
left.
more.
3.
No, we're 4. There's 7
4.
episodes.
Yeah,
4,
sorry.
5, 6,
I jumped ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Whew. So a little funny thing here. Daniel Logan tweeted out a picture of him, photoshopped his face on the young Boba actor. This guy said on Instagram, not watching this crap because they didn't cast you, the real Boba. And he goes, Steve, give it a chance. You never know who will show up. Now it has everybody talking like, oh, are we going to see Daniel Logan? Are we going to see
Are we going to see Clone Wars Boba?
Are we going to see Clone Wars Boba? Are we going to
Because
see...
Daniel Logan was also the voice for Boba in Clone Wars.
He was. Absolutely, he was. Yes.
So it would be a perfect connection, and like
it would be.
That creates a lot of theories.
No, yeah, absolutely.
A lot of theories where we can see his flashbacks. That'd be neat.
My only kind of pushback on that would be, the farthest. Well, the farthest we've seen is, like 10-year-old Boba watching Jango leave. I'm just wondering how a story where Boba's a little, I don't know. I've kind of lost my train of thought, but if it does happen where we do see like a teenage Boba, it would be interesting to see how they play with that story element in the episodes, if it does happen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But guys, I think that's going to be an episode.
That is the end of the episode. I say that we've covered a lot. Yeah, we've covered the episode. We covered the Daniel Logan tweet. We covered my thoughts on episode 3. And yeah, it's pretty much the end right here. So until next time, of course.
Aidan, where can the good people follow you on the social medias?
You can find me mainly on TikTok at Aidan Talks Star Wars Topics. I also have a YouTube channel by the same name. That being said, I haven't posted there in a while, but I am planning on posting more videos to my YouTube channel. I talk about what's going on in Star Wars, news. I give my thoughts on any relevant Star Wars content, whether that be the shows or the books.
Yep.
And I also like to, once in a while, give out theories on all sorts of Star Wars content. And most important of all, I just like talking Star Wars.
Heck yeah. Get this man to 1,000 followers on TikTok.
We're on a quest.
He can go.
The quest is to get him to 1,000
on TikTok. We've got a goal, and I challenge everybody: go follow, go discover somebody, because you never know when you're gonna find a diamond in the rough that's gonna be like such a great content. Aidan is one of them. And he's very underrated. Go follow his stuff. It's awesome. Char, where can the good people follow you?
Good people. That's you. I don't know where you guys are, but anyway, you can find me on TikTok at CharCharJ. And you can find me here at the Podwans podcast every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, talking about Clone Wars arcs, Book of Boba Fett, and the roundtables for the Book of Boba Fett. So there you can find me. And if you haven't already, I mean, if you're here, why haven't you already? But go ahead and subscribe to the Podwans podcast.
And give it a like.
We hit 100 subscribers last week, which was an amazing milestone for this channel. Luke, I know you're very grateful about it, and as am I. And yeah, it's great having all of you here, enjoying us talking and blabbering on about Star Wars for the past hour and a half. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. And yeah, may the Force be with you always and forever. And Luke?
And for Light and for Life,
you
guys can all follow the channel on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, Podwans Pod. Podwans, the Podwans podcast, and Podwans on Twitter. Again, like Char said, for light and for life, we're all the Republic. Now you can say
it. What, for light and life?
No. May the force be with you.
May the force be with you always.
There we go.
Bye, everyone.
And thank you guys all for coming in, and I
Thanks.
hope you guys have a great remainder of your night.
Thanks.